First card we got then is Necrotic Mortician for Death Knight. 2 mana, 2/3, double Unholy Rune requirement. Battle cry: if a friendly undead died after your last turn, discover an Unholy Rune card. We'll be rating these 1 to 4, 1 being bad, 2 fringe, 3 is strong, and 4 very strong.
Yeah, I think these cards are like okay. They were these kind of cards saw play, I know, in our Death Knight challenge, but they're just like once decks get really competitive, I'm not sure because it's like, but in theory it is a 2/3 discover, which is good enough. And unholy, like when you get the on the certain cards, you can get cards that like you can be a 2 green deck, but discover a 3 green card, which is strong.
Yep.
So
or
I think
3 blood or whatever.
yeah, so I think it's like a 2. I'm not sure if this kind of because the effect isn't that hard to get off, but it's still like you don't get to play this on curve and get the effect,
Yeah,
which is annoying. So
I'm kind of with you on the 2 there. At the 2 mana 2/3 discover, that's all well and good, and Demon Hunter, god damn it, Death Knight cards are very good, generally speaking, but it's got a requirement on it. And
yeah,
that requirement is going to make this awkward more often
Yeah.
than we would prefer, I think. A lot of people are going to get baited into keeping this in the mulligan.
yeah, I see what you're saying. So yeah,
I'm totally
yeah.
good on it too.
But I could see it's in play. So we'll see how stuff. So all right.
Yeah. All right, next up, we got Vampiric Blood, 2 mana, 3 blood runes. Spell, give your hero +5 health, spend 3 corpses to gain 5 more health and draw a card. This can push you over your maximum health. You just add 10 to the total.
Yeah, I think this is very strong. It's 4. I don't think it's gonna carry the red archetype because it still needs win conditions. But I think this card, you get this off School Teacher, it's nutty. You get this from your other cards, it's like just random cards, it's nutty. So I think this is a 4.
Yeah, I had 4 in the context of a triple blood deck is definitely appropriate. I have some questions as to whether the triple blood deck is going to ultimately end up working out. Especially because I'm eyeing in the future a possibility where very quickly Renathal and or Denathrius get nerfed, which could be a major problem. But Vampiric Blood is clearly a very good card.
Yeah, I mean, Denathrius getting nerfed might be good for the triple blood because then they're playing a very control the board, don't win game. Having Denathrius not in the game, having decks having trouble winning is good for it. But yeah, I think. I'm not looking at will blood to be good this expansion. I'm saying, is this card good independently? And yes, I'm going to go with probably the strongest triple blood card there is. So
yeah, it's got to be. Otherwise, there's no point to play the triple blood.
Yeah.
But yeah, Vampiric Blood, a 4 I think is definitely appropriate given its general power level. Next up, we got Acolyte of Death. 3 mana, 3/4, single frost rune. After a friendly undead dies, draw a card.
I think this is either strong or very strong. It's pretty much carries the card draw. I think decks will run blue just to get this card. So it might be very strong in that, like it's your draw engine. It's hyper efficient. It's easier to not get killed than like Colt, and it's 1 mana less. You can play things with like Taunt in the way that are undead. And then it's often really annoying because 4 health is a annoying breakpoint, so it's hard to die. I think this card is very. I'll go very strong. So
you're going for a 4 on this?
Yeah.
I'm going to go the complete opposite direction. I'm going to say this is a 1. My guess is this doesn't get played. And that's strictly because I really dislike effects like these that say destroy your own minions. I really don't want to be trading off my stuff this aggressively to get cards back. I'd rather probably just leverage the existing board I have in a way that doesn't make them want to die.
I think Undead's a little different. Undead has a lot of reborn stuff. Undead, even the hero power. So I think this goes very much in line with what Death Knight's trying to do. Compared to other classes. So, but yeah, I know.
If I do see this, I see it in single Frost, double Unholy. I
Yeah,
don't think Blood can leverage it that well, and Frost certainly can't.
yeah, but the double Unholy Frost or the double Frost Unholy, I think are gonna be very strong archetypes potentially. So,
All right,
yeah, I see they're all gonna run this card. So, okay.
nice. All right, next up we got Blightfang, 3 mana, 3/3, legendary, single Unholy rune requirement, and it's a beast. With a battle cry of infect all enemy minions. When they die, you summon 2/2 zombies with taunt.
Yeah, I think this is very strong.
Yeah, a 4, right?
Yeah. This is just. There's no way this is. I'm really wrong about this one. This one's just so useful, and you play it on 2 minions. It's good enough. You play it on 7 minions. It's like what the f, you know, like
Yeah, versus anything remotely aggressive and board centric, this is going to be one of the most annoying things your opponent can ever play
yeah.
against.
It's like spreading plague, but for 3 mana, like with the body, you can play it on stuff, and then they trade. There's a lot of cool things you can do to wreck your
Even if
opponent.
this only hits 1 minion, it's not even that bad.
Absolutely, yeah,
And if this hits more than 1, holy shit, is that annoying.
yeah. It's very
And it
annoying.
gets you a crap load of corpses at the same time,
Yep,
because your zombies will give you corpses that aren't risen, which is nice. And if you're going to do something like Marrowgar or Denathrius or anything infused related,
yep.
Blightfang is just, it's going to juice all those cards up. I hope it's not like an annoying spreading plague, but it might be.
Yeah, it's like an annoying experience. Like
Good to
bad
know.
news for you. Yeah. So yeah, it's really good.
All right, next up we got Meat Grinder. 3 mana, 3/4 mech, 1 unholy requirement, battlecry, shred a random minion in your deck to gain 3 corpses. Shred just destroys the minion out of your deck, doesn't trigger death rattles or anything, just it's gone.
It'd be cool if it triggered death rattles, but yeah, I think this card's a 1, so
Yeah,
useless.
I'm kind of on that one train too. I don't think I'm really going to struggle to get corpses as a Death Knight,
Yeah,
and I don't want to play a spider type to get them.
the payoffs for corpses, there's like are really fringe. There are a few good ones, but the payoffs for corpses aren't that amazing yet. Anyway, so yeah, and it's a 3 mana 3/4. Like you'd rather run. Yeah, this is just
You'd
some
rather
better
run a lot of
cards.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we got Soulbreaker. 3 mana, 3/2 weapon, 1 blood. After your hero attacks and kills a minion, gain 2 corpses.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a 1 on this one. So
You and I agree. Fiery War Axe is not a powerful card, and I don't
yeah,
think blood is really going to struggle for corpses either.
yeah, it doesn't have. I mean, its big payoff is corpse explosion, but it's just not good enough. But yeah, so
Yeah. It's just too much setup, too much pain.
yeah,
Speaking of, our next card is Corpse Explosion. 5 mana double blood shadow spell, which detonates a corpse to deal 1 damage to all minions. If any are still alive, repeat the spell.
I think this is fringe. It's like it's got a you have to use your corpses, but doesn't have anything. Red doesn't really have anything else currently use corpses for, but it is a little annoying that often if you're in a tough hand you have to choose between like Bone Guard and this, but it's I mean it can be a full clear unconditionally on 5 for a 10 health board, so it can. Its overall effect is strong, even if its cost is high. I think so.
I think I'm going to kind of go with a 1 on this. I'm going to go a little bit against the grain. I think a lot of people are going to rate this a bit more highly. And I could totally be wrong about this, but when I look at Corpse Explosion, I look at a lot of awkwardness. Where if there's
Yeah,
one large minion, it's hard to use. If there are a bunch of small minions, 5 mana to clear them can be pretty inefficient. And you need to have stacked up all these corpses, which means you might not have played Vampiric Blood at that point, or any other corpse effects, hematurs, whatever blood is using. I don't I can see it definitely being very powerful, but I also wonder if it's better to play things like, I don't know, Spammy Arcanist or
Yeah, we ran
Asphyxia.
in our stuff. Everyone was running spammy because you didn't have that cost and you got a body, but that's also like this would be good against something like a beast hunter, where they have a bunch of clunky you can kill three. You can kind of use it as like a world like kind of similar to the old
Oh yeah.
whirlwind warrior card. So the fact that it's unconditional. I mean, that being said, I don't think it's that good. I just think it does have powerful things going for
Yeah,
it, so it's the
there are some
earliest.
boards it's really good against,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of boards it's also really kind of awkward against.
Yeah.
But
So
it might make its way into decks. I could be totally wrong about this. Next up, we got Alexandros Mograine, a 7-mana 7/7 legendary undead for triple blood. Battlecry for the rest of the game. Deal 3 damage to your opponent at the end of your turns.
yeah, I'm gonna go with a 1 on this one. I have I have a point of view because I got to play it. But yeah, it was very. We ended up cutting it from our blood decks because it just was like, all right, you put your opponent on a 10-turn
50 turn.
timer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because you have all these bad tempo cards, so you're not like getting tempo damage in. So um, it's just not. In a world where you can easily deal 40 from hand, 3 damage return isn't gonna matter. So
Yeah, it's so slow with
yeah.
no immediate impact really outside of the 3 damage.
Yeah, I think they should redesign this card and make it deal 3 damage to your opponents at the end of the turn, and then spend 3 corpses to deal another 3.
Mm.
Because then one red has corpses being much more relevant. Because right now they're just not that relevant, and 2, then it's actually you kill your opponent relatively quick. But yeah, I think because players kind of overvalue these effects and they're afraid of this card being nuts and people being mad.
Yep.
They just made it weak, but it's kind of useless. So yeah,
Yeah, whenever you see an effect like this that the opponent can't destroy or remove, that it's a permanent effect, a lot of people probably do overvalue the power of that simply
yeah,
because they're going to spend their whole game trading and they view that clock as very threatening, but
yeah.
it's really not.
Jailers like that too, where people
Mhm.
people think it's because it's immune forever. It's absolutely busted, but it's countered by just death. Hitting him the hero in the face. So yeah,
Yep. Sad Alexandros, 1 from me as well.
yeah.
Next up, we got Bone Guard Commander, 8 mana, 8/8 undead with 1 blood rune. It has Taunt and a battle cry to raise up to 6 corpses as 1/2 Risen Footmen with Taunt, which are 1/2 taunt minions that do not leave a corpse when they die.
I think this is a 2. Um, it's okay. A lot of mana, but I mean it's hard in that like classes that can deal the 1/2. What's hard like if you play this against like a beast hunter, it's gonna be real nice because they have no real way to push through, so it's like a block for a turn. But if you play it against a class that can go quality consecrate and they have 8 attack on board, this is just hard to play these cards against classes that have full clears. So yeah.
I'm going to go with 3 on this, I think, mostly because blood, it does need something to do with his corpses, and this is
Yeah.
that. And more importantly, it does things like juice up Denathrius,
Yeah.
which is probably how the blood deck is going to intend to win most of the time. So it's a 1-card board in a box, and you're going to have a lot of corpses laying around, especially if maybe you're not running Corpse Explosion. And as far as an 8-drop goes, it's going to be a lot of stuff for
Yeah.
just 1 card. And if it requires a board clear, so much the better. All right. Next up, we got Soul Stealer, 8 mana 5/5 undead, triple blood rune. Battlecry, destroy all other minions. Gain 1 corpse for each enemy destroyed.
I give this strong. It's a good card, but it's mainly a twisting nether with a body, so it's like it's twisting nether seems to see some play. This is just for the most part just way better. So, but it's still like I don't feel like it's good enough to. I mean, like in the world where OTKs exist against this class, like it's a little tough. Like the meta has to be like very slow. I feel for the triple reds to be good. Um, because you need to like control the board and disrupt, and you have no real like way to win with tempo reliably. So these kind of things like this card's certainly strong. It just how does it fit? And like I don't think this is like you clear their board and they just play more stuff, and you don't have like the triple green card to like win with all your corpses. So.
Yeah. In a way, you're kind of talking me down on this. I don't know if I'm willing to go from a 3 to a 2. I would call this card good.
I mean, yeah, if triple red exists, this card exists in it, I feel like. So it's, yeah.
I kind of looked at it as a Lord Godfrey, which was a good card.
Yeah. I remember we were, more triple reds come out next expansion, all of a sudden, they get some busted win condition, and then all of a sudden these cards are great, so that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So
yeah, I'm still going to put probably 2 in my triple unholy deck, so I'll probably stick with a 3, but yes, there are many decks where this is going to be not good against at all.
Yeah,
because I've been doing a lot of theory crafting, and the potential for OTK stuff and more combo-based strategies to come back look quite high right now.
Yeah,
and Soul Stealer is not particularly good against a lot of them.
Yeah, so if your opponent just does their own like thing from hand without board, triple red is kind of useless. So
yeah, Soul Stealer not so much. It's good, but I could see that being very awkward.
For some reason, it's going to Demon Hunter. Does it not go to?
Yeah, it goes to Demon Hunter next.
Okay, I'm surprised it's not going to. There's a lot more.
Well, this is the new set. The other Death Knight cards are Core Set and Path of Arms.
Oh, so these are all the cards from. Okay, interesting. Okay,
yeah, this is just March of the Lich King.
Ah, I gotcha. So so triple red got a lot of March of the Lich King stuff. Okay.
Yeah, the other ones could talk about the other Demon Hunter stuff after. God damn it. The other Death Knight stuff after this, if you want, if you got time.
Okay, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could review that.
All right, so we'll move right on to Demon Hunter here. Next up, we got Fierce Outsider, 1 mana, 2/1 with Rush, and Outcast. Your next Outcast card costs 1 less. Part of this whole new Outcast package that Demon Hunter is getting.
So I mean, because it's not this turn, it seems pretty good because you can just save mana, and Demon Hunter is efficient card draw in general. So I feel this is pretty good.
Like on a 3 for this, you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know all the other Synod cards, but this seems reasonable.
Yeah, I'm kind of on a 2 with this. I've been looking a lot at the Demon Hunter Outcast package, and one thing that always concerns me is the lack of ability of that deck to kill somebody. Okay. I can see you can do Outcast stuff, but the actual killing them part can be kind of difficult.
Well, do I even need an Outcast deck to run this? Like in a world where Skull exists, which obviously isn't right now, I could just run this to have a 1-drop and get my Skull discounted, which is good enough. So yeah,
that you do have to Outcast it, which is a little bit awkward.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay,
it is Emerald Sky Talon, which is a 1 mana 2/1 rush beast that we have right now, which ain't close to being good enough. So if you Outcast this and you play more Outcast cards, the Fierce Outsider, it can be a decent card. I would give it a 2.
Because 2 is probably right. I'm going to give it a 3, so just for fun. So
yeah. We'll see if the whole Outcast package comes together. Surprisingly few Outcast cards in Standard right now. Next up, we got Unleash Fel, a 1 mana Fel spell that deals 1 damage to all enemies, Mana Thirst 4 with Lifesteal.
Yeah, I feel like Demon Hunter, I mean, because of the Il'gynoth days, everybody's thinking about Il'gynoth, but this is good.
This does go face.
Yeah, you could use it with Blood Mage Thalanos, you can use it with that new 3 mana minion, and just get big heals.
Arcanist.
Yeah, Talented Arcanist. I mean, I feel historically Demon Hunter likes these cards, and the overall. I don't know where this gets used, but I feel like the card is strong.
Yeah, I'm going straight 4 on this thing. This card looks absurd to me.
I was gonna give it a 3, but yeah.
Sometimes it's going to be a life-stealing Flame Strike that goes face for 1 mana,
Yeah, that's pretty good.
and Jace is going to replay it, so it gives you
Oh
time
yeah,
to...
Jace replaces. You just put it in a Jace deck. Yeah. Jace rotates at the end of this expansion, right?
Next expansion after this.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. So
but
okay.
Unleash Fel, I mean, this is going to be real good. Talented Arcanist plus this, that's 3 mana, or 3 damage to all opponent stuff, and you lifesteal for 3. That's a Reno and a board clear most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is so good, I'm going to be building decks around it.
Okay. I think I'm still give it a 3. So yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Next up, we got Mark of Scorn. 2 mana spell, draw a card. If it's not a minion, deal 3 damage to the lowest health enemy. So Demon Hunter also got this no or few minion archetype.
Yeah. So let's think if I'm running. I mean, I guess if I'm running, it's kind of like Fel Barrage sees play, and it's kind of similar card, but with a card draw, because you only run this in no health, right? But
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
minion Demon Hunters.
you can't duplicate it, but with Jace.
Yep, not a Fel spell.
But Fel Barrage has seen play in decks that aren't Jace, maybe not good ones, but it has seen play. So, so if you can always draw a card, and it's kind of like quick shot, right? Except you have to. So I'd say I'd say you give this a 3. I think it sees play in every no minion Demon Hunter deck. So
Yeah, I'm very much on the 3 train myself with this. I think the no minion Demon Hunter decks are looking pretty good. And you can play this even if you do have minions. That this could just be a 66 or whatever % chance to deal 3 damage and you draw a card. So sometimes you can make that choice. It's not going to be outstanding, but it's definitely efficient for what it does. And you get the card draw, get the refund, get the damage.
yeah,
Go face, worst case. I'm into it. Next up, we got Wretched Exile. 2 mana, 2/3. After you play an Outcast card, add a random Outcast card to your hand. It's our Whirl Kick Master for Outcast cards.
well, that's really good, right? Like, I mean, that could be a complete reload on your hand.
Could be.
And World Kick saw play at a 1/2.
It took some time to see play, and it was still the worst card in the Whirl Kick deck, ironically enough. But
it was
it
it was the most
eventually make its way
exciting
into a
card.
deck.
Yeah. This is a 2/3, so it's completely
Oh, yeah.
different. Yeah. Because you could just slam this on curve.
It's definitely a great part of the Outcast package, especially when you're working with the mana discount, potentially.
Yeah.
But I keep looking through the Outcast cards, and I keep saying to myself, like, this doesn't chain very well. A lot of them are kind of expensive.
No, I
They
see what
don't
you're saying.
kill the opponent. It's really not getting the job done enough in my eyes.
If I play this and then I go double, like when you play this and you get the 2/1 and you play it and you get another 2/1 and you play it, it's gonna be ridiculous. So I'm gonna give it a 3. It's hard to get instincts on this card without playing it, I think this card could be good. So
I'm going to go a little bold here. I'm actually going to downgrade this to a 1. I was kind of on a
1.
2, and it's more of a 2. It really is. But I just don't think the Outcast cards are going to be good enough to actually kill people, and that's kind of a major problem. Because if the Outcast cards can't kill people, why am I getting more I-Beams and Gnarg Glavesmiths? It's not going to do it .com for me.
Oh, I-Beams are good, but yeah.
They can be, but they don't kill people.
Yeah, they killed the minions though, so
They do.
This
do.
is yeah. Anyways,
all right. Next up, we got Felderai Warband. 4 mana spell, deal 4 damage. If your deck has no minions, summon 4 1/1 Illidari with Rush.
it's pretty good, right? Like it's I mean, this might be really strong. I don't know.
There's a fun combo here if you want to get wacky with Sinful Brand.
Oh, yeah.
Where you can Sinful Brand a minion, send 4 1/1s into it. That's 8 damage. This is another 4. That is 12 damage. And if you double Sinful Brand that minion, it can be, what? 4 times 4? So 16.
Okay.
20 damage total.
Yeah, and then yeah, so it could be 20 damage to face.
Could be.
Yeah. So your opponent can never play minions. It's I mean, it can never play an 8/8 or 4/4, I guess. But yeah, it's I mean, I think this card just, I mean, this card's just really efficient. I feel
It's
like
really efficient, yeah.
so. I think
It's like a way better flanking stroke.
yeah, I think I'm just gonna give this a 4. It just you know, I mean, if this card doesn't see play, then it's the no minion archetypes are just garbage, right? Like I feel like everyone would just run this one no matter what because it's developing, it's potential face damage, it's removal, it's everything, you know?
It is everything. So flexible.
Yeah.
Just a great looking card. I'm in for a 4 as well.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Fellerin the Forgotten. 4 mana, 3/3 legendary with a battle cry. If add a random outcast card to the left and right sides of your hand, they cost 2 less.
Well, that's I mean, I don't know how good you got a better idea of the outcast cards, but it's a lot of value. It's mana cheating, so you could play it, get it set up for your your Wretched Exile play for next turn.
So just for the record, our outcast cards are Fierce Outstrider, which is our 2/1 in this set, which we've seen. There's Wayward Sage, the 2 mana 2/2 Naga that reduces the things. Chaos Leech. Vengeful Spirit, which is our 4 mana 4/4 drawing Death Rattle minion. Kurtrus, Kurtrus Ashfallen, he is an outcast card. Eye Beam, Gnarg Glavespith, Spectral Sight, and Crimson Sigil Runner. That's what this can generate.
Oh, that's great. I think we have different view on the outcast cards. All right,
We might.
you know, just to be controversial, let's give this a guy a 4.
All right, I like that. And I will go with the 2, because even if there's no outcast archetype, there's some probability that this card can just be good enough to go into some other decks.
Yeah.
It's not really bad to generate a 1 mana Chaos Leech and maybe a 0 mana Spectral Sight.
Yeah, I mean it's mana cheating, and so it's you know, it pays for itself.
And these cards do hold the discount from turn.
Yeah, if it's a 2 less this turn, I would not be. But it, like, you can play this, you can save stuff up, you can do like play 80 cards in one turn. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it has some potential.
So. Yeah,
Next up,
this outcast the stuff. Yeah, it looks. I don't know. I think it looks good, but let's see. All right,
would be nice. Next up, we have Soul Eater's Scythe, 4 mana legendary 4/2 weapon. At the start of game, consume 3 different minions in your deck. Leave behind souls that discover them. So the way this works, at the start of game, before any mulligans or anything happen, 3 minions are turned into 1 mana spells. This 1 mana spell says discover a minion that the Scythe 8, and once you pull a minion from that, you can't discover. So if you have 3 different minions, A, B, and C, and you draw and discover A, the next one that you draw will discover from B or C. And then after 2 of them, it'll discover from the last remaining option.
But where the Cthulhu the Shattered is a related card. Are you seeing that?
Yeah, I don't know why Cthulhu the Shattered is a related card. I think it's because at the start of game, Cthulhu the Shattered splits before Scythe works.
Yeah, so they can't.
Otherwise, Scythe could discover a 1 mana Cthulhu. That seems like a bug, though, that it got left behind. And also, Soul Eater Scythe, if memory serves, this can eat 2 of the same copy of a minion. So if you have like 2 Talented Arcanists, you can get a Discover from Talented Arcanist A or B, plus a 3rd minion in your deck. I don't think it has to be 3 unique minions.
Yeah, so percent 1, this allows you to run the no minion archetype, so it's kind of a deck enabler. But it's also, in theory, you could run it in a deck just to make your opponent afraid of doing disruption, you know, to like get that Jace. So you could just, and I saw like on, I think on Roffle's, you can like discover any of the cards. So it's like you can discover, you know, it costs 1 mana, so there is a tempo cost, but like it's you can you could say, oh, this is the one I need. Like, so you can have like your 3 big win conditions and say, okay, this one is the one I want right now, and that can be real strong, right? So.
Yep. I really like this, again, for the no minion archetype. So you get to do something like you still play Relic Demon Hunter. And you
Yeah.
get to still play your Zymox, and you get to still play your Jace, and then you get to still play your spell damage minion, and you get to make the no minion spells work all the time.
Yeah, I think this is a 4. I mean, it's a whole archetype enabler. So yeah, it's hard to.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm definitely on the 4 train myself.
Okay.
You can also increase the consistency if you want to have a specific minion that you get more often. You can have 3 shots at getting it instead of 1 or 2.
So you could run this in a not no minion Demon Hunter deck too, like
Yep.
So.
Just looks cool.
Yeah.
The 4/2 weapon is not so great for 4, and the 1 mana having to spend to discover the minion is not so great, but overall it definitely seems like worth the downside. Next up, also for the same archetype, we've got Deal with the Devil. 5 mana Fel spell, summon 2 3/3 Fel Fiends with lifesteal. If your deck has no minions, summon a 3rd.
I'm not sure on this one. I mean, it's a lot of. I guess it's kind of similar. Reminds me of the Imp card. The 2 3/3s. They do have lifesteal, but like these kind of cards, you play them and then your opponent just goes like deal 3 damage to all, and you don't get your lifesteal. So it's like, or you're the aggro deck and you don't need lifesteal. So I don't know. Like if you're playing defense, I don't know. So it's like,
I don't think that's that bad, because if you're the aggro deck and you don't need the lifesteal, then whatever, they just died. It was 5 mana for 9/9, and if your opponent answered it, they answered it. And if your opponent's AoEing, you're probably not going to really need the lifesteal either, because that's probably not what deck they're playing. But against an aggressive deck, I mean, 9/9 worth of lifesteal stats for 5 mana unconditionally that Jace can replay.
Oh, Jace can replay it too. Okay.
Yeah, this can be a bit of a wall for some decks. Where if you're not ready to kill the Demon Hunter after they play this, all of a sudden you have to like trade into 3 lifesteal.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're somehow behind 20
I guess the card I'm emotionally comparing it to is the Vile Fiend, where you get 2/2, 3 mana, 2 lifesteal guys.
I'm thinking back to Kobolds and Catacombs, where you had Lesser Emerald Spellstone.
Yeah,
Hunter Spellstone that upgraded.
But that card's not good enough anymore. So
it's not. But here you don't need to play the secrets, which is good. You get lifesteal on the minions, which is fantastic, and Jace replays it, which is also positive. I'm going 4 on this thing. I think this is excellent.
I see your logic, but emotionally, I'm not convinced. I'm gonna give it a 2. So
listen to your heart.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Vengeful Walloper. 7 mana 5/5 demon with rush. Costs 1 less for each outcast card you have played this game.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's our instead of taunt, this has rush. It's our version of Thing from Below and Totem Shaman.
Yeah. Harder to get. See, it's a lot harder to get this discounted than Thing from Below, though. You know.
It is.
Like,
or maybe it's easier depending on if the 2/1 and your Whirl Kickmaster for Outcasts work and your Legendary works.
Yeah.
You can maybe discount it quickly enough.
I mean, am I really going to get this consistently down on turn 5 or 6? Oof.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm just not convinced this sees play in Outcast Demon Hunter.
It must go in Outcast Demon Hunter, right? The only real downside to this in Outcast Demon Hunter is sometimes you mulligan, and this is on the left side of your opening hand, and you're just sad.
You're effed. You can never play an Outcast card.
Yeah, not from the left,
now you
has to be
convinced
from the
me.
right.
It's. I'll give it a 2 to be safe, but I'm not convinced it's good. Yeah, you just get on your left side. You can never play Outcast cards, and then you can't run big cards like this in an Outcast deck. You know.
Yeah, and I'm really not convinced that 2 5/5s potentially with rush, even if you eventually discount them to 0, is enough of a payoff for an Outcast Demon Hunter.
I'm gonna give it a 1 actually. So yeah.
A 1.
Yeah.
I'll go with a 2. I'll go with a 1. Screw it.
Okay.
I don't think it's good enough. This doesn't win the game.
Yeah, I mean,
those payoffs need to win the game.
Yeah, I think the fact that it makes it harder for you to outcast your cards. Like if this starts at the left side of your hand, you're just effed. Because you have an
Unless
entire
you're playing the
outcast
shuffle
deck,
cards.
and you can't play your outcast stuff because it's on the left. So you need, I feel like you need a low curve deck to play an
Yep.
outcast, you know? So
Yeah, play Bibliomite, and then if Vengeful Walloper's on the left-hand side, you just shuffle it back in your deck. Problem solved.
Okay. Yeah, that's hard. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not convinced.
Yeah. Next up, we got Brutal Annihilon. 9-mana, 9/9 demon with taunt and rush. After this minion survives damage, deal that amount to the enemy hero. Big Demon Hunter support.
Ooh.
Huge Demon Hunter support.
I mean, you play the 6-mana card and you pull this out, right? And
5 mana, actually. Sigil of Reckoning is 5 mana.
Oh, I was thinking the pull out 2 minions of your own.
Proving Ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then then it hits on your own minions. It takes like 5 damage. I mean, you pull out 2 brutal annihilations. You're very sad.
Yeah, they just kill each other.
Yeah.
And you get nothing.
You can deal no damage. Oh,
But then you can play all Fell Breaks Loose and resurrect one of them for 5 mana.
Oh god. I just give this a 1. It's easier.
I'm very much on the 1 train myself. I'm still not a believer in Proving Ground Big Demon Hunter.
Yeah.
And that should be all the Demon Hunter cards, right? It is.
Yeah.
Nice. Moving right on to Druid. Making good time.
Okay.
Lingering Zombie up first. 1 mana, 1/1 Undead. Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 Disarmed Zombie. And that has a Death Rattle of summon another 1/1 Zombie. And if you look at the token art for this, it's pretty cool. Because the first one, he's missing one arm. The second one, he's missing his other arm. Very cute.
Oh, that's kind of okay. He's okay. Disarmed or I gotcha. So he keeps losing arms and then he's eventually dead.
Yep. It's a 1/1. That's a 1/1. That's a 1/1, and then it's dead.
So would this? I think the question is, would this see play in like an aggro archetype? Because you're not going to run this in like the ramp druid archetype, right?
Certainly. Yeah. This is definitely an aggro card.
But I mean, it's 3 1/1s for 1 mana. That's so annoying.
It's so sticky. It's so good for composting. It's so good for
composting is nice.
Okay. Good for the.
Yeah, I mean, I think this. I like rating cards without like knowing if it works in a deck currently. So I'll give it a 3. Seems pretty good.
I'm gonna go with a 4 on this. I think this is one of our best 1-drops that we've really ever seen. It's so sticky.
Okay.
And it just does so much stuff once you play it. It's like 3/3 for 1 mana, eventually.
Yeah.
A lot of stats. Next up, we got Chitinous Plating. 2 mana spell, gain 4 armor. At the start of your next turn, gain 4 more. Sure, we got a bit of an armor theme this expansion.
Yeah. So this is a tough one because like gain. I mean, heavy plate, solid plate, but heavy plate also is tradable. Druid has better card draw.
Traded a lot.
And Druid, like the problem is like gaining armor in a world where Earthen Scales exists. Wouldn't I rather just like ramp to to devour and then go devour Earthen Scales and gain 15 armor for 2 mana? But so I don't. The problem, like you also like can't use this to not die this turn. Your opponent's, so it has that disadvantage. Like, I don't want to play this on 2 for sure. So, I don't know. I feel like this isn't actually good. I don't think I run this in an armor druid deck.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. I've seen one main usage for the plating, which is that you play this in some way, like on the turn you alignment, or the turn right before you alignment. Yeah, turn before you alignment, and then when you reduce all your minions to 1, you have guaranteed armor to reduce your 1-cost taunt minion to 0. But other than that, it's a good rate for armor, but it doesn't do anything. And even in Renathal Druid, I feel like I'm really tight on the card slots. Druid has a lot of good stuff, and I'm not sure this is good enough.
I'm gonna give this a 1. I just don't see it ever seeing play, unless like maybe you run it in a teched counter conquest deck that you're just trying to beat burn decks, but I think in general it's bad. So
yeah, I'm with you on the 1. I just don't think it's quite good enough. You got Nerubian Flyer up next, a 2 mana 2/3 undead with a battle cry. If a friendly undead died after your last turn, summon a 2/2 Nerubian. And after your last turn means either on your opponent's turn or on your current turn.
Yeah, so you could trade.
You can trade, then make the 2/2 if you want.
So, yeah, I guess if if I'm playing, aggro, do I feel? I think the tooth drops always feel like, how good do I feel about playing this on turn 2? And I feel like I don't.
I think I'm with you on that. Undead did not get very much in the way of early game. Now we got the zombie and druid, which is very good, but you still got to trade it in. It still has to die.
Yeah, I'd rather run like
haven't-
the 2-mana 1/2 spell in the current aggro druid. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not a huge believer in a lot of the undead archetypes outside of demon, death knight, or maybe priest.
Mm-hmm.
I tried sketching on a druid deck. I didn't feel very comfortable with this version of aggro. So I'm really on a 1 for this. Is that what you're on?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give 1. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels just too conditional for a deck that doesn't want to be hindered by conditions. That's all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Next up, we got Wither. 2-mana nature spell, choose a minion. Each friendly undead steals 1 attack and 1 health from it. So for every undead you have, the enemy minion, well, not enemy, it can be any minion. That minion loses -1/-1, and your undead gains +1/+1.
Each friendly undead steals 1 attack. Okay, so this is really hard to use, but in theory, its effect is strong when you have 6 minions on board. If they have, if they have a 6/6, but like, when am I gonna pull this off? And like, am I really gonna run this in a board deck?
Yeah, it can be like, even if you hit a 2/2 enemy minion and get +2/+2 on your side of the board, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
But
I guess so. I mean, I
you
guess
gotta be playing an undead heavy deck.
so. If you have all undeads, which is like, am I gonna run all undeads in this theoretical druid deck? I feel unlikely, but it can give you, be power of the wild with dealing damage,
With an
right?
assassinate.
So,
Yeah, it can be a power of the wild assassinate, which is very good, but it's for a very specific deck with a specific condition being met. Where you have undeads in
Yeah.
play and your opponent has a minion and you're ready to wither them.
And your opponent's gonna be super scared to play a minion if this is ever meta, right? So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's the problem with decks that just play stats and just hope in 2022 is cards like this. So
I just think it's too conditional, that's all. It's very powerful in theory, and that theory is
Yeah.
very unlikely to
am I gonna
reality.
run? So I'm debating between 1 and a 2 here. So like, is it? Because I'll give it a 2 because, like you said, in theory, and that's what fringe is, right? So in theory, this card could be good.
All right.
In practice, probably not.
Probably not. Next up, we got Beetlemancy. 5-mana spell, choose 1. Gain 12 armor, or summon 2 3/3 beetles with taunt.
Seems terrible. Like 5. Like, am I gonna spend 5 mana gaining armor as druid? I mean, this card seems okay to people who see you at guff at 18 mana, but like,
Yep.
yeah, I think this card just never sees play in any deck. Like, except once again, the armor druid that's just hoping your opponent's playing a burn deck and you're just trying to gain armor, but like, you don't have to, like, these cards, the way you beat druid is you just play minions on the board and then they play gain 12 armor and then you hit them in the face for 12. So you're like, all right, next turn, so.
And it's also a choose 1 card, which can get in the way of jerry-rig, drawing, and nourish, which would probably be something you want to do in this precise deck.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a fat 1 for this. It just doesn't interest me.
Yeah, this card doesn't even necessarily make the cut in if you're in some sort of wild choose 1 deck, like the quest,
Yep.
So yeah, I'll give it 1 as well. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Elder Natox. 5-mana 5/4 legendary undead. Battlecry, destroy a friendly undead. Your minions gain its attack.
This seems so bad.
It does not seem very good.
You have to have a minion, like you have to have multiple minions on board, so your head. Why am I gonna run this card like the attack, and like I don't make my board stronger, so it's only a finisher, but it's so conditional of a finisher. I mean, compare this to even if you all did to the world of Arbor Up. Obviously, Arbor Up was OP, but
Oh, yeah.
like it's this is I this play sees playing any like it's I'm gonna give it 1. So bad.
I'm going to give it a 1 too, but I'm going to run the 2 scenarios you play this by. The first is you are a heavy undead aggro druid. And then you have a bunch of undead minions in play, or at least one undead minion in play. You swing with that minion, hit your opponent in the face for whatever, 2-3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then Elder Nadox eats it, and you get kind of like a permanent Savage Roar on your minions and finish them. Great. Probably not going to happen. You need a bunch of minions, one of them has to be undead, 5 mana, etc. Here's the other scenario. You're playing Alignment Druid. You have Mr. Smite in your deck, and you have Jerry Rig Carpenters that are also pirates. And then you play your Anubricon, which we're going to see shortly.
Okay.
And then Elder Nadox, you play Smite, Jerry Rig. Elder Nadox eats your Anubricon, gives your minions +8 attack, and then you go in and smash your opponent in the face with Smite and Jerry Rig. Not happening, but you can do it.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a 1.
It's always your Jurassic or straws when you have like, well, maybe an Alignment Druid. So
Yeah.
that's always so okay.
Once 8 conditions have been met, it's kind of good.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Unending Swarm. 6 mana spell. Resurrect all friendly minions that cost 2 or less.
Swarm.
Swarm.
This is kind of cool. I mean, it's just a board on the box, right? It's like you could
Injure Tolvir.
Oh yeah.
You can do an aggressive taunt druid deck back with Razormane Battleguard.
Yeah, you could run something like the 5/4, the Rager.
No, that's 3.
Oh crap!
3.
All right, crap. Okay, you're right.
Let me look at my deck real fast. I'll let you know what minions are good to resurrect with this. Because there are some, like there's Trog and there's Peasant, of course. And if you're resurrecting some taunts, you do stick your Trog and your Peasant behind your taunts. You got Tolvir, you got Priest of the Deceased. If you can transform that into a 2 mana 4/5, that will get resurrected. This will probably resurrect a bunch of lingering zombies. The first body and the second body and the third body.
Yeah.
And Encumbered Pack Mule. There you go.
So, I mean, it's...
Alternatively, Scale of Onyxia.
Yeah, I mean, this card, I think, so, you could read the scale, like, I mean, if you're a Druid deck, but you have to, what is annoying about it, like, a scale is, like, you have to play scale first, so this card's just awkwardly sitting in your hand, but...
Very true.
I don't know, this is, like, a really hard one. I could see it being a 4, I could see it being a 1. You know what I mean?
I'll go bold on this and I'll say 4 because this could make an entire new deck.
Yeah.
This could be 6 mana, summon 5 to 7 minions for an aggressive deck.
Yeah, it just like you just reload a board for 6 mana, so your opponent clears your board. You can't get for decks that buff, you can't get buffs. So, but
and it's a good board. It can have Priest of the Deceased. It can have 4/5s. It can have 2/6 taunts. It can have peasants that draw cards stuck behind taunts.
Yeah, that's that could be really annoying. You get the peasants back. All right, I'll give it a 3.
The potential, the ceiling is there for sure. Just a matter of if it actually works.
Mind Druid for skill, yeah. So
yeah, there you go. Get him with the mods.
Ellen Boar and Pyre. Yeah, okay. So I mean, it's such a cool card. It's hard to not give it a good rating. So.
Next up, Underking. 7 mana 6/6 undead with Rush, Battle Cry, and Death Rattle. Gain 6 armor.
It seems very good, right?
It does, doesn't it?
Like
7 mana 6/6 Rush, gain 12 armor eventually.
Yeah, I mean, and God forbid there's some sort of like synergy on this. Like I don't know if there's any revival for Druid. Wait, Druid has the location. If ever, I mean, I don't know if you probably doesn't. And
no.
Does Druid have any other good? I mean, you could run it with that 8 mana guy too, right? And pull this out.
A Nubricon, I think, is really our only synergy for this.
Okay.
But it's really not bad. Just as I'm going to remove one of your things and stabilize type cards once you've been ramping.
Yeah, I mean it's hard I mean, I guess in the scale world, like usually you need to like fight for board hard on turn 7.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you get to like if you stabilize and then your opponent's still trying to kill you, this card's insane.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're just kills all hope. I mean, so much armor and a body and rush.
Yeah. And it's great with alignment, of course.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give
I'm
it a
giving
3.
this a solid 3, yeah. I think 3 is perfect for this. It just, you can just play this.
Yeah.
It's not really that big of a deal. And yet, you'd rather scales for many boards, but you can also have scales and this. And then you're just even more consistent at doing something good.
With the legendary,
Yep.
you could eat it.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Speaking of, here's the legendary. Next up, a Nubricon, 8 mana, 7/7 legendary undead. Battlecry, gain 8 armor. This turn, your minions cost armor instead of mana.
Yeah, I mean, this fat 4, right? Like it's
This
busted.
is the most Giga 4 I've ever seen.
I thought it was the combos are so easy to pull off with this deck card, right? So yeah.
You put this in alignment, it's just a better Anacondra.
Yeah, or you could put this in not alignment and just the brand and just the 2-drop combo. I think Meaty posted.
Yep. Yeah, so we can go through a couple quick combos here. The first is if you have, I think, 11 mana or 12 mana and some amount of armor, whatever the case is. After you play Guff, you play Bran, a Nubricon. You play Astalor, the 2-drop, which gives you 2 Astalor 5-drops. And you can play those Astalor 5-drops that refund their mana cost and give you more armor. And then they give you 2 8-drops that you could also then brand out.
Yeah. So you don't even need the Guff, because you could play this, then play that 7-drop, rush it into something, but that nets you 5 armor, and then you play the brand combo. So like you don't even need Guff. So
and this will still you're just going to play alignment. And then if you don't die, you play a Nubricon and then
win the game.
Brand,
wow.
Double Alexstrasza, double Denathrius, double 8-drop.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. All right, it nerfs it coming. Like,
die.
Why is this card? Oh my god. Where do they,
this is absurd.
How is this card?
Even worst case scenario, you play this for 8 mana and it's like a Cenarian Ward. You get a 7/7 that gives you 8 armor, or it's like a Coon and you play a 0 mana 7/7 and spend 8 mana on something else.
Yeah, this will be the day one deck to beat.
Without alignment. Yeah, this thing is nutty.
Yeah, so good.
And speaking of, our next card is Crypt Keeper. An 8 mana 4/6 undead with taunt, costs 1 less for each armor you have.
I'm not
so
sure
a
this one
instantly sends that to 0.
Yeah, I mean,
alignment with any armor sends it to 0.
Yeah, it's probably good. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you can find a way, I guess in theory, like this is why you run that 2 mana card, is literally just for this card, so you can play it on 2 and then you play this the following turn against a more for tempo. Yeah, because it's weird against an aggro deck. It's hard to get this down, but like till later.
When I look at this, my main thought is just I can play 4/6 taunts on the same turn I play alignment.
Yeah.
That's what I see. That's the main implication. Also, a Nubricon sends it to 0 instantly. Yeah. And if you do play your 7-drop, that gives you the armor. If you play your 7-drop, let's say, I don't know, it doesn't die. And then on 8, you play alignment, trade in your thing, gain armor, you can drop Crypt Keeper for 0 too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you need alignment to make this card good.
Probably not.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 3. I'm not convinced on 4, but it's, yeah.
I'm right there with you on a 3. Just seems quite good. It's a 0 mana 4/6 taunt a lot of the time.
Yeah.
All right, and that's going to move us right on to Hunter.
For one, if you made it all the way to the end, chances are you really like this content, so thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. If you want to show your support of the live content, feel free to like and subscribe. Liking and subscribing always helps the algorithm to show that you like it, so the thing is more likely to give it to other people. In addition to that, if you are always wanting a Nohandsgamer video, but some days I don't put one out because I don't know what to do, we have another channel, which is the Nohandsgamer VODs, which is the raw, unedited content from my Twitch, where you get to see everything on the UTAB format. I highly recommend you go check that out, so you can get your Nohandsgamer fix every day, even when I don't put out a normal YouTube video. Hope to see you guys in the next video.